Before we begin this night prayer, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Your support helps more hearts find comfort when they need it most. I've done everything I could, everything I knew how. I tried talking, explaining, making lists in my head of what I could do better, what I should have said, what I never should have done. I went over it all, again and again, rewinding the moment, replaying the silence, rethinking the words, but it's still broken, still out of my reach. And tonight, it hurts, because I want to fix it. I really, really do. If I could just find the missing piece, just say the perfect thing, just turn back time a little, maybe things would be different. Maybe they'd be whole. Maybe I'd feel less like I failed. But I didn't just lose control. I never had it in the first place. And that's what's eating at me. That's what's keeping me up. There's this knot in my chest that won't loosen, not because I don't care, but because I care too much. I care so much, it aches. I care so much. I can't stop thinking about how I might have messed it all up. I can't stop scanning the past for answers, hoping I'll find the one thing that makes it all make sense. But I haven't, and maybe I won't. Because not everything can be fixed by trying harder. Not everything heals just because I want it to. Some things are simply outside my hands, and that's what I'm struggling with. God, I don't even know where to begin tonight. I don't have some polished prayer or perfect words. I just have this tired heart and this heavy mind, and I need you to take it from here. Because I'm afraid that if I keep carrying this alone, it'll break me. I keep holding on to what I can't change, and I think it's time I let you hold me instead, even if I don't know how. I keep thinking about all the moments I wanted to fix but couldn't. All the conversations that ended too soon or got too loud. The mistakes I made, not out of malice, but out of pain or confusion or fear. I remember the things I wanted to take back, but didn't know how. The way I hoped someone would understand, but they never did. And now here I am, carrying those fragments, trying to tape them together in my head, as if I could rebuild what's gone, as if I could undo what's already been done. But I can't, can I? I know you don't ask me to fix everything. You never expected me to have all the answers. You just ask me to trust you, to come to you with whatever I'm holding and offer it, raw and real and honest. And that's what this is. This is my honesty, my ache, my confession. I can't do this on my own. I don't want to pretend that I'm fine or strong or untouched by all that's fallen apart. I want to be real with you because I need you, not just to solve this, but to stay with me while I learn to breathe through it. I keep thinking that if I let go, I'll lose something forever. Like letting go means giving up. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe letting go just means I'm finally trusting you to carry what's too much for me. Maybe it means I'm done pretending I can hold the weight of something I was never meant to carry alone. Maybe it means I stop playing God in my own story and start letting you be the one who writes it. There are things I want to fix because I love deeply. But I can't heal someone who doesn't want to be healed. I can't change a decision that was never mine to make. I can't rewrite a moment that's already passed. And even though it hurts to admit that, I think it might be the beginning of freedom. Not because the pain is gone, but because I'm not fighting it alone anymore. I don't want to fall asleep tonight without rehearsing every what if. I want to rest without bargaining with the past. I want to unclench my jaw, loosen my shoulders, and just exhale. Maybe for the first time in a long time. And if that's going to happen, I know it starts here, with this prayer, with this moment, with this choice to stop gripping what I can't fix and start trusting the one who never lets go. So here's what I have: a tired soul, an aching heart, and a mind full of regrets. And I'm giving them to you, not because I'm ready, but because I'm too tired to keep carrying them. I don't know how to fix this, God, but I know I don't have to do it alone. Sit with me in this silence. Let me feel you near, even if nothing gets solved tonight. Remind me that my value isn't tied to my ability to fix things. Remind me that your love doesn't shrink when I can't hold it all together. And maybe, just maybe, I'll start believing that surrender isn't failure, it's freedom. I've spent so much time analyzing every little thing, trying to connect dots that don't want to be connected, trying to justify the pain by giving it some higher purpose, some reason that would make it feel less sharp. But maybe not everything has a tidy explanation. Maybe some things just are. And maybe you're not asking me to make sense of it, but just to be with you in the middle of it. There's a kind of peace I long for tonight. Not the kind that comes from everything being okay, but the kind that comes from knowing I'm not alone in the not okay. The kind that says, you're safe here, even in this mess, even in this uncertainty. And I think that's the kind of peace only you can give. So if you're here, would you just hold the pieces with me? Don't fix them right now. Just hold them. Hold me. Let me cry if I need to. Let me breathe if I can. Let me rest, even with unanswered questions and unresolved stories. Because I don't need all the answers tonight. I just need you. I need to feel that even when I've lost control, I'm still held. Even when I can't undo the damage, I'm not discarded. Even when the future is unclear, my worth isn't in question. I don't need perfect resolution. I just need to know that you're not going anywhere. That you haven't walked away just because something broke. That you're still here in the middle of the fracture. So help me loosen my grip. Help me stop reaching backwards. Help me believe that maybe what's ahead could still be good, even if what's behind me hurts. Help me fall asleep without the weight of responsibility for everything I can't control. Help me let go, not out of apathy, but out of trust. Trust that you are still working. Trust that you see what I can't. Trust that you care more than I ever could. Trust that it's okay not to be the one who holds it all together. And if I wake up tomorrow with the same ache, remind me again, remind me that healing takes time, that surrender is a process, that you are patient with me even when I'm impatient with myself, that I don't have to figure everything out overnight. I just have to keep bringing it to you. I may not feel strong tonight, but maybe strength isn't about control. Maybe it's about letting go. Maybe it's about saying, I can't, and knowing that you can. Maybe it's about releasing what was never mine to fix and trusting that what's meant to be healed will be by your hands, not mine. So I'm laying it down now, all of it. Not because I stopped caring, but because I've finally realized that carrying it alone is only hurting me. And I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want to sleep with clenched fists and a restless heart. I want to sleep with open hands and a soul that knows you're near. Stay with me, God, not just tonight, but every night I'm tempted to hold on to what you're asking me to release. Stay when I want to go back. Stay when I want to fix. Stay when I feel like giving up. Stay until the storm quiets, or at least until I find enough stillness to sleep through it. Let this be the start of something softer, something freer, something more honest. Let this be the night I finally begin to let go. It's strange how quiet the night feels when everything inside is still loud. The lights are off, the doors are locked, the world seems to have slowed down just enough to invite rest. But my mind didn't get the memo. It's still trying to fix, still trying to figure out what went wrong, still scanning for anything I might have missed, as if the answers will arrive if I stay awake long enough, as if I'll finally crack the code of how to make peace with something that doesn't want to be healed my way. But God, what if peace isn't about fixing? What if peace comes when I finally stop trying? There's a part of me that thinks I've failed if I let go. That maybe I wasn't taught enough or caring enough or devoted enough to hold it all together. But I think you're trying to teach me something different, that surrender isn't a collapse. It's an opening, that letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means giving back to you what was never fully mine in the first place. The people, the outcomes, the timing, the healing, the closure. I keep trying to carry it all, but it's slipping through my fingers anyway. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's mercy. Tonight, I want to stop trying to be my own savior. I want to stop patching every crack and plugging every hole and solving every emotion like it's a riddle. I want to stop proving I'm good enough, capable enough, strong enough to handle what's breaking me inside, because I'm not. And I think I'm finally ready to admit that without shame. I wasn't built to fix everything. I wasn't created to hold what only you can carry. And that doesn't make me a failure. That makes me human. That makes me yours. So here's what I'm holding tonight. God, the need to understand. The need to change the past. The need to feel in control of the uncontrollable. The need to fix people who don't want to be fixed. The need to make everything okay, even when it's clearly not. I'm holding it all out to you like a tangled mess in my hands, asking not for you to magically erase it, but to sit with me while I slowly, gently begin to loosen my grip. I don't even know how to do that, but I want to try. And maybe that's enough for now. I'm tired of living in the in-between, between guilt and hope, between questions and silence, between holding on and letting go. It's exhausting, this mental tug of war where no one wins. I want something better. I want something softer. I want to breathe again without the weight of everything I couldn't control pressing down on my chest. You see what I'm wrestling with, don't you? The shame of not being enough to change the story. The fear that if I stop trying, it means I've stopped caring. The pressure to keep going, keep helping, keep showing up, even when it costs me more than I have to give. And the truth is, it's costing me my peace. It's costing me my sleep. It's costing me the quiet moments I used to find comfort in. I don't want to pay that price anymore. I want peace more than I want control. Maybe tonight is about giving you what I don't know how to carry anymore. Maybe it's about trading this endless striving for stillness, trading anxiety for presence, trading fear for trust, trading control for rest. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. Letting go, never. But I'm willing to try if it means I don't have to walk through this night alone. So help me unclench this fist I've wrapped around the outcome. Help me stop rehearsing conversations I'll never have. Help me stop rewriting endings that were never mine to write. Help me accept that some healing won't come the way I imagined. Help me believe that surrender is sacred, even when it feels like loss. And as I lie here, eyes closed, but soul wide open, would you breathe over the places where I've held too tightly? Would you soften the places that have grown hard from grief and pressure and shame? Would you remind me that I'm allowed to rest, even when things aren't fixed, even when I don't have the answers, even when I still wish things had gone another way? Let tonight be a quiet turning point, not a grand, dramatic moment, but a small shift. A breath where I used to hold tension, a whisper where I used to shout for control, a pause where I used to strive. Let this be where I start choosing peace over performance. I used to think that love meant never giving up on people, that if I cared enough, I would always keep trying, keep fixing, keep holding on. But now, I see that sometimes love also means letting go. Not out of anger, not out of bitterness, but out of trust. Trust that you're still writing their story, even if I'm no longer part of it. Trust that you care even more than I do. Trust that my letting go doesn't mean abandoning them. It just means I'm finally stepping out of the way. Some of the most painful things I carry are the ones no one else sees. The guilt for not doing enough, the weight of broken conversations, the longing for repair that never came, the fear that something was my fault, even when deep down I know it wasn't. These invisible burdens wear me down more than anything else. So I'm handing them to you now as best I can. I don't want to keep living under their shadow. If I'm honest, God, I wish you'd just fix it all tonight. Snap your fingers and make the past feel lighter, the people kinder, the regrets less sharp. That even if you don't, even if nothing changes overnight, let me feel your nearness here in the dark. Let me fall asleep knowing you're already working in the places I've run out of strength for. You're not asking me to be perfect. You're not asking me to get it all right. You're just asking me to trust you, to let go of what I can't fix and let you hold me through what I can't understand. So I breathe slowly, in and out, each breath a small act of surrender, each breath a quiet prayer. I can't, but you can. Each breath a letting go, not of hope, but of control, not of love, but of the need to fix, not of faith, but of the belief that I have to carry this alone. Maybe healing begins with that, with a single breath, a single night where I finally let go of the need to fix what broke me, and instead I just let myself rest in the arms of the one who never breaks. So here I am again, God, honest, heavy, hopeful, tired, but here, and I know you're here too. Stay with me. I'm not asking for answers. I'm not asking for outcomes. I'm just asking for presence, for the kind of comfort that doesn't require anything from me, for the kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, for the kind of rest that only comes when I stop pretending I'm fine. Tonight, I want to be real with you. I want to bring every part of me into the light, especially the broken pieces, especially the ones I've been trying to hide or fix or glue back together, because I think you don't need me to come polished. You just need me to come open. I don't have to hold it all. I don't have to fix it all. I don't even have to understand it all. I just have to bring it to you. So I'm bringing it, all of it, and I'm choosing one breath at a time to let go. Let me fall asleep in that. Not in control, not in resolution, but in surrender, and in the quiet belief that maybe, just maybe, I'm finally safe enough to let go. Sometimes I wonder what it would feel like to go through a day, just one day, without trying to hold everything together, without carrying the invisible weight of everyone else's needs, without feeling like I have to mend things that were never mine to repair. I wonder what it would be like to wake up and not immediately start bracing for what might go wrong, to move through my hours without overthinking every word, every silence, every misstep. I wonder what that kind of freedom feels like. I think it starts with nights like this, with prayers like this, with small, whispered admissions that I can't fix it all, that maybe I don't have to. Because no matter how hard I try, some things will remain outside my reach. No matter how much I love, some people will still walk away. No matter how many sleepless nights I spend replaying it all, the past will not change, and I hate that. I really do. I wish I could press a button and rewind. I wish I could soften the endings, change the choices, make everything a little kinder, but I can't. And you know that. You're not surprised by my limitations. You're not ashamed of them either. You've always known that I'd come to this point, this breaking point, this turning point, where my own strength runs out, and all that's left is my need for you. So I'm here again, not because I've figured it all out, not because the pain has disappeared, but because something deep inside me knows I can't hold it anymore. I wasn't built for this kind of pressure. I wasn't made to solve every problem or explain every ending, and if I keep trying to play God in situations I can't control, I'll end up losing myself in the process. That's not what you want for me, is it? You never asked me to be perfect. You never asked me to carry the entire story on my shoulders. You simply asked me to be present, to be honest, to be willing to let go. And even though letting go feels like standing on the edge of something terrifying, I'm leaning in anyway. Because what I've been doing, clinging, controlling, spinning in circles, it's not working. It's only wearing me down. I'm exhausted, and I'm ready to learn a different way. I don't expect everything to feel better overnight. I don't expect my heart to stop aching or my mind to quiet completely. But I do expect you to meet me here in this quiet room, on this restless night, in the middle of my mess. I expect you to come close, like you always do. I expect your love to be steady, even when I'm falling apart. I expect your presence to be enough, even when nothing else is. So take this need to fix, God. Take this pressure I keep putting on myself. Take this guilt that doesn't belong to me. Take this grief I don't know what to do with. Take this pain that comes from caring too much, trying too hard, holding on too long. I don't want to carry it into tomorrow. I don't want it to follow me into my sleep. I want to leave it here, tonight, with you. There's something holy about this moment. Something sacred in the way I finally let myself be weak. In the way I let the tears come without explanation. In the way I whisper, I don't know what to do, and feel no shame in saying it, because that's where you meet me. Not in my strength, but in my surrender. Not in my answers, but in my questions. Not in my control, but in my letting go. I've spent so long thinking I had to keep it all together, that if I just tried harder, prayed better, waited longer, everything would fall into place. But now I see that sometimes things fall apart, and maybe that's not the end of the world. Maybe it's the beginning of a new one, a world where I don't have to pretend anymore. A world where I get to breathe again. So teach me how to live with open hands, not because I don't care, but because I care in a healthier way. Not because I'm giving up, but because I'm giving it back. I'm releasing the grip I've had on things that were never mine to hold so tightly. The expectations, the outcomes, the people, the regrets. Tonight, I'm choosing rest. Not because everything is fixed, but because I don't want to fight with myself anymore. I don't want to stay up trying to rewrite stories I'm not the author of. I want to be still, even if just for a few hours. I want to fall asleep without solving anything and still believe that I'm enough. And when the doubts creep in, as I know they will, remind me that I've already done enough. That even if I can't fix what's broken, I've shown up with love. I've tried with everything I had. I've prayed, I've cried, I've hoped, I've been human. And that counts for something. That matters to you. Let tonight be the night I stop defining myself by what I can't fix. Let tonight be the beginning of grace. The kind that says, you don't have to carry this alone. The kind that says, you're allowed to rest even when the work isn't done. The kind that holds me when I've run out of words and strength and understanding. I'm ready, God, ready to let go. Not all at once, maybe just a little at a time. But it starts here, with this breath, with this prayer, with this sacred pause, where I let myself stop trying for just long enough to feel how deeply I am loved. Hold me in this stillness. Wrap me in a peace that doesn't make sense. Whisper to the parts of me that are afraid of what letting go will mean, and gently remind me that what I'm doing is brave. That trusting you with what I can't fix is the bravest thing I've done in a long time. So I won't reach for the past tonight. I won't chase after what's already gone. I won't beg for answers. Because if there's one thing I know, it's that you never asked me to carry it all. You asked me to come to you. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. There's a moment each night, just before I fall asleep, where I feel like I'm suspended in air, not quite resting, not quite awake. But I think I've learned something tonight. Letting go doesn't mean erasing the past. It doesn't mean forgetting or pretending it didn't matter. It just means I'm not forcing it to keep living in my present. I'm not dragging it with me into tomorrow. I'm not letting it take up space in my thoughts that could be filled with peace. Instead, I'm not trying to squeeze answers out of silence anymore. Because the more I try to fix what's behind me, the more I miss what's still ahead. I've realized how much energy I've poured into trying to make things whole again. How much of my heart has gone into rewriting endings and filling in gaps. How often I've stayed up, like tonight, telling myself, just one more thought, just one more try, just one more attempt at figuring it all out. And I'm finally seeing that I don't need to think my way into healing. I just need to rest my way into trust. That doesn't mean I stop caring. It means I stop carrying what was never mine alone to hold. You've seen it all, God. The efforts that no one noticed, the silent prayers, the emotional knots, the second guessing, the aching desire to make everything better. You've watched me wrestle with questions that never had answers. You've heard my heart break quietly when the world kept moving forward without pause. And through it all, you've stayed. You've never rushed me or shamed me or told me to just get over it. You've simply been here, patient, kind, ready to receive what I couldn't name until now. So, I'm giving you the pieces again. The ones I tried to glue together, but only made a mess of. The ones I kept rearranging in my mind, hoping they'd form a clearer picture. The ones that hurt too much to look at sometimes. I'm giving them to you, not because I know what you'll do with them, but because I finally trust that whatever you do will be better than what I've been doing. I keep coming back to this thought, maybe it's not mine to fix, because it was never mine to control. Maybe the illusion that I could hold everything in place was just that, an illusion, a protective instinct, a way to feel safe. But now I see that safety isn't about control, it's about trust. It's about knowing that even when things fall apart, I don't have to fall with them. Even when others let go, I'm still held. Even when the outcome isn't what I hoped for, the presence of love doesn't disappear. You're still here, and you're not asking for perfection. You're asking for honesty. So here it is. Again, I'm scared. I'm tired. I'm disappointed in how some things turned out. I feel helpless. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like being the one who can't make it better. But I'm learning that this, too, is holy ground. This fragile space where I admit my humanity. This raw moment where I offer you the things I can't fix. And you receive them like treasure. Not because they're whole, but because they're real. Because they're mine. Because I'm yours. There's something in me shifting. It's subtle, but I can feel it. A loosening, a small exhale where there was tension before. A tiny pause before the next wave of thoughts. It's not a full release yet, but it's a beginning. And maybe that's enough for tonight. I'm not going to force peace to show up. I'm going to invite it in, slowly, gently. Like a quiet guest I forgot how to welcome. I'll light the candle of trust and let its glow grow brighter with each breath. I'll make space for rest, even if the room is still cluttered with questions. I'll stretch out my soul and let you tuck me in, not with answers, but with comfort. Some of the things I wish I could fix involve people I love. That's the hardest part. Wanting to heal something that hurt them. Wanting to protect them from pain, even the pain I couldn't see coming. And I think that's why this letting go feels so tangled. It's not just about events. It's about hearts. It's about love that still lives, even after closure never came. And I don't know what to do with that, except give it to you. Hold them, God, the ones I couldn't reach, the ones I still carry in my heart, the ones I couldn't fix, the ones I couldn't help. I'm trusting you to be what I couldn't, to do what I can't, to go where I wasn't invited, to heal what never made it into my hands. And hold me too. Hold the version of me that tried so hard, that stayed up too late, thinking, feeling, worrying, praying. The version of me that showed up even when it was hard, that gave without guarantee, that loved with everything I had. Hold that part of me close tonight. Let me know that it mattered, even if the outcome didn't show. Let me know I'm not forgotten. Maybe I've measured my worth by the wrong things, by outcomes, by resolutions, by whether something was mended in the end. But I'm starting to believe that you see me differently, that you measure my heart by how present I was, how tender I remained, how faithful I stayed, even when things didn't go the way I prayed for. So tonight, help me let go of the story I thought I had to tell. Help me release the version of the ending I was holding on to so tightly. Help me find beauty in the broken, and not because it all worked out, but because I found you there, sitting beside me in the wreckage, refusing to leave. You don't need me to have a plan. You don't need me to fix the mess. You don't need me to make sense of it. You just need me to trust that you are in the middle of it, still loving, still working, still holding. And if I forget that tomorrow, if I pick up the worry again, if I fall back into the spiral, meet me there, gently remind me. Whisper what I forget, that letting go is not a one-time act, but a rhythm, a practice, a way of living in trust instead of fear. Let this be my lullaby tonight, not words of resolution, but words of release. Let the sound of your presence be louder than my questions. Let the hush of surrender carry me into sleep. Let my heart learn what my mind has resisted, that letting go is not the end of the story, it's just the next chapter. So I rest with open hands, with a quieter soul, with a trust that's just beginning to take root. And in that soft place, I feel it again, peace. Not because everything is fixed, but because I'm no longer trying to fix it all by myself. I keep thinking about the moments I never got to repair, the ones that ended in silence, or in words I wish I hadn't said, or in things I never said at all. Sometimes they sneak up on me when everything's quiet, like now, and I replay them in my head as if the outcome might change if I remember it clearly enough, but it never does. And all I'm left with is this aching feeling that something still lingers, unfinished. It's not that I haven't tried to let go. It's just that some things wrap themselves around my heart before I even realize they've taken hold. I want to loosen my grip on what I can't rewind, but I don't always know how. Some days, letting go feels like forgetting, and forgetting feels like betrayal. I worry that if I stop trying to fix it, I'm giving up on the people I love, or worse, I'm giving up on myself. But what if it's not giving up? What if it's giving over? What if it's surrendering to you? Not because I failed, but because I finally understood I don't have to fix what's not mine to heal. I don't want to spend another night measuring my worth by what I couldn't change. I don't want to fall asleep carrying the guilt of someone else's decision or the pressure to be everything for everyone. I just want to rest, not because everything is okay, but because you're still God even when it isn't. So tonight, I'm not trying to organize my thoughts into tidy little answers. I'm not trying to fix what went wrong in my head before I sleep. I'm not drafting apology letters in my imagination or reworking conversations that already happened. I'm just here, a little tired, a little raw, but open to peace, open to healing, open to whatever you want to do in me now that I've stopped trying to do it all alone. I've realized that fixing isn't always loving. Sometimes fixing is just fear in disguise. Fear that if I don't control it, it'll get worse. Fear that if I don't say something, I'll regret it. Fear that if I don't act now, the moment will pass and I'll never get it back. But love, real love, it makes room. It doesn't grab or push or demand. It waits. It trusts. It lets go when holding on causes more harm than healing. And I want to love like that. I want to love with open hands and a soft heart. I want to trust that what's meant to stay will stay, and what's meant to go will go, and that in both cases, you'll still be with me. There's grief in all of this, not just over what happened, but over what never got to happen. The healing I hoped for, the reconciliation I prayed for, the resolution I imagined in the best case version of my story. And I need to let myself grieve that, not with shame, but with kindness, with the kind of kindness you offer me every time I come to you with the same ache, the same tired question, the same broken hope. But I don't know what tomorrow will look like. I don't know if the things I'm releasing tonight will stay gone, or if they'll come back in some other form. But I do know that tonight, I don't want to sleep with clenched fists. I want to breathe without the weight of responsibility I keep putting on my chest. I want to rest in the truth that I am held, not by my control, but by your mercy. So, hold me. In all the places I've tried to hold everything else, hold the spaces in me that were stretched too thin by trying too hard. Hold the wounds I couldn't bandage on my own. Hold the relationships I've carried far past the point of peace. Hold the guilt that was never mine to begin with. Hold the dreams that hurt too much to touch right now. Hold them, God, please. I know I'll be tempted to pick them back up. I know I'll wake up some mornings and forget that I gave them to you. I know I'll hear a song or remember a moment or stumble over a familiar feeling and wonder all over again if I did enough. But I trust that you'll be there then too, reminding me gently that I'm allowed to let go, that it's safe now, that you've got it. Sometimes I think I confuse letting go with letting down. Like releasing something means I'm abandoning it. Like resting means I'm being careless. But you're not asking me to be careless. You're asking me to be careful with my heart, with my energy, with my peace. You're asking me to care in a way that doesn't consume me, to love in a way that doesn't leave me empty, to be present in a way that doesn't pull me apart. And that's what I want tonight. I want to be whole again, not because everything is fixed, but because I've stopped expecting myself to fix it. I want to be free again, not because the past disappeared, but because I stopped dragging it forward. I want to be gentle again with myself, with my journey, with the pace of healing. I want to believe that I can move forward without everything being resolved. Maybe that's the beginning of healing. Not a loud breakthrough, not a dramatic shift, just a soft moment of permission. Permission to rest, permission to stop, permission to let go, even with the ache still present. And that's what I hear you whispering now. You're allowed to rest, even if it still hurts. You're allowed to stop holding what I'm already carrying for you. So I'm leaning into that, into the kind of trust that doesn't need to see the outcome to believe your goodness, into the kind of rest that doesn't wait for everything to be okay, into the kind of peace that starts with the quiet decision to let go of what I can't fix. This is my prayer tonight, not for everything to change, but for me to change in the way I hold it. Not for the pain to vanish, but for my soul to feel held while it heals. Not for closure to show up in the form I want, but for you to meet me right where I am, confused, tired, open. I'm letting go. Not because I'm done loving, but because I'm done losing myself, trying to make everything perfect. I'm letting go. Not because it doesn't matter, but because it matters too much to carry wrong. I'm letting go. Not because I'm weak, but because I'm finally strong enough to say, I don't have to do this alone. Stay with me tonight, God. Stay in the empty spaces and the aching corners and the parts of me that still want to reach for what's gone. Stay when I'm tempted to believe I'm failing just because I'm resting. Stay when I forget that healing can happen even in the dark. Let tonight be a quiet revolution, not the kind that fixes everything. Just the kind that reminds me I don't have to. Lying here, still and quiet, but inside there's movement. Not the kind that rushes or demands attention. The kind that stirs gently, like a leaf turning in soft wind. It's something I can't name yet. Maybe it's relief. Maybe it's the early breath of peace. Maybe it's just my heart beginning to believe that I don't have to try so hard anymore, because trying has taken everything from me. Some days, trying to fix what hurt, trying to undo what's already been done, trying to convince others to stay, to understand, to change, trying to live up to expectations I never agreed to carry, trying to prove that I'm good enough, strong enough, wise enough to fix what broke, and all it's done is wear me thin. I don't want to live like that anymore. So tonight I want to sit with this new truth, even if it still feels a little foreign, that maybe letting go isn't giving up. It's giving over, giving it all over to the one who was never asking me to carry it in the first place. And maybe, just maybe, letting go is the most loving thing I can do. For the people I tried to save, for the situations I tried to heal, for my own tired soul. There's a difference between helping and holding too much, between caring and carrying what's not mine. And I'm learning that line slowly. I used to think I had to be the one to keep it all from falling apart, that if something slipped, it meant I failed. But now I see it more clearly. Some things were already unraveling before they ever reached my hands. Some things were never mine to hold in the first place. And no matter how tightly I grip them, they'll never be healed by my effort alone. I think you're trying to teach me how to open my hands without guilt, how to release without shame, how to say, this is no longer mine to carry, and trust that you're still in control, even if I'm not. It's hard. God, so hard. But something about tonight feels like a beginning. Not because everything is resolved, but because I'm no longer wrestling you for the outcome. I've spent so long being afraid of what might happen if I stop trying to fix it. Afraid of who I'll be without that role, without that sense of purpose, without that burden. But maybe I've confused burden with identity. Maybe I thought being the fixer made me needed, made me worthy, made me valuable. And maybe you're gently whispering that my value was never tied to what I could fix. It was always in who I am to you. So who am I, really, when I'm not holding all the broken things together? Am I still loved? Am I still enough? Am I still safe? I want to believe that the answer is yes. That even if I stop fixing, you don't stop loving. That even if I step back, you step in. That even if I lose my grip, I never lose your grace. Help me live from that truth tonight. Let it settle deeper than the lies that say I'm only worthy when I'm needed. Let it wrap around my bones like a warm blanket. Let it be the voice I hear louder than fear. I want to lie here, not in anxiety, but in acceptance. Not in pressure, but in peace. Not in control, but in closeness to you. I'm not here to ask for miracles tonight, though I know you can do them. I'm here to ask for presence, to ask that you sit with me in the in-between, in the space where things are still unresolved, in the quiet where I'm tempted to pick it all back up again, in the silence where I'd usually fill the void with worry. Be with me there. Remind me that the work of peace begins in that pause, that stillness is not emptiness, it's sacred. You're not disappointed in me for not being able to fix this. I need to hear that. I need to know you're not shaking your head, waiting for me to do better. You're just waiting for me to let go. And now, slowly, Tonight, I let go of the fear that if I stop trying, everything will fall apart. I let go of the belief that I have to be the glue for everyone else. I let go of the guilt that whispers, you should have done more. I let go of the timelines I've set, the outcomes I've planned, the pressure I've placed on my own heart, and what I receive in return is softer than I imagined. Not loud, not dramatic, just stillness, just a quiet, I've got you from the one who never sleeps. Just the assurance that I am held completely, compassionately, continuously. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel that urge again to step in, to fix, to prove, to protect. And maybe I'll have to pray this same prayer all over again. But that's okay. Letting go isn't a one-time event. It's a posture, a practice, a nightly return to trust. So, if I forget tomorrow, remind me. If I reach again for what I released, take my hand and gently guide me back. And if I can't even pray the words, let this moment be enough. This breath, this decision, this opening. I'm not walking away from love, I'm walking toward freedom. I'm not abandoning what matters. I'm releasing it into better hands. I'm not shutting down my heart. I'm protecting it from what it was never meant to hold forever. I'm not giving up. I'm giving over. And in that shift, I find space. Space to breathe. Space to rest. Space to feel again, without fear. Space to trust that what you hold with care. That what I release, you receive without blame. You're not asking me to fix this. You're just asking me to trust that you'll still be here when it breaks. You're asking me to believe that your love is the safety net under all my surrender, that I'll never fall farther than you can reach. So I'll sleep now. Not because it's all better, but because I'm no longer fighting the truth that I can't make it better alone. I'll sleep because I'm allowed to, because you never asked me to lose myself in fixing others. You only asked me to stay close to you. And tonight, that's what I'm doing. I'm close now. My heart is open. My hands are empty, and my soul is beginning to feel light. There's a quiet ache that follows me into the night, not loud or sharp, just persistent. It doesn't demand answers. It doesn't scream for change. It just lingers, like a shadow in the room. It sits beside me when I breathe deep and try to relax. It whispers when I turn over in bed and reach for sleep that still feels far away. And I think it's because I know, deep down, that I can't fix this, that what I've been holding on to, trying to heal, trying to untangle, trying to rescue, is outside of my reach now. And I hate that. I hate the helplessness of it, the vulnerability, the truth that no matter how much I care, no matter how much I replay the past or plan for a better response or try to make sense of what happened, there are things that simply cannot be undone, things I cannot force into healing, people I cannot pull back into closeness, words I cannot erase, moments I cannot relive. And even though I've prayed for peace, I've been afraid to fully receive it because some part of me has believed that letting go means I didn't care enough, that choosing peace is the same as choosing distance. But it's not. And tonight, I want to stop confusing the two. Because caring doesn't mean carrying everything forever. And love, real love, doesn't require me to destroy myself in the process of trying to fix what's broken. Sometimes love is fierce in its release. Sometimes it lets go. Not because it stopped loving, but because it finally trusted, and I want to trust like that. Trust that even if I loosen my grip, everything that truly needs to stay will remain, and everything that no longer serves peace will gently fall away. I think a part of me believed I was responsible for the outcome, that if I said the right thing, did the right thing, prayed the right way, waited long enough, tried hard enough, then maybe it would all come together. But it didn't. Here I am, still holding the pieces, still wondering if I should have done more, still aching for what I never had the power to control. And you're still here, God. You're still sitting with me in the stillness, not blaming me, not rushing me, just inviting me again to release. So I'll try again tonight. I'll breathe deeply and ask you to hold what I've been gripping. I'll let you take the pressure, the sadness, the questions, the guilt. I'll let you be the one who watches over what I can't. I'll let myself rest. I've been afraid that letting go would make me numb, that it would turn me cold or detached or distant, but it's doing the opposite. It's softening me. It's letting me care in a new way, without control, without fear, without trying to manipulate the outcome. It's letting me feel love that's no longer tied to fixing, compassion that doesn't require proof, grace that doesn't ask for perfection. You're teaching me something I didn't know I needed to learn. That peace isn't passive. It's active surrender. It's a brave, conscious decision to stop reaching backwards and start trusting forwards. It's not about becoming indifferent. It's about becoming unburdened. And maybe that's the healing I've needed most all along. So tonight, I open my hands. I stop rehearsing the past. I stop calculating what I could have done differently. I stop creating imaginary endings in my head. I stop negotiating with regret, and I simply sit here with you, in this moment, in this breath, with nothing to fix, nothing to prove, nothing to carry alone. I'm tired of defining myself by what I couldn't fix. I'm tired of measuring my worth by the way others responded to my care. I'm tired of believing that if I let go, it means I failed. What if letting go is actually a form of wisdom? What if it's not weakness, but clarity? What if it's the beginning of a deeper kind of strength? I don't want to hold on to what's hurting me just because I don't know who I am without it. I want to know who I am in freedom. I want to know who I am without the weight of trying to make things right when I can't. I want to live with a soul that's light again, not because everything is healed, but because I've stopped thinking I'm the one who has to heal it. Let me rest in that tonight, God. Let me believe you're still writing the story, even if I'm not on every page. Let me trust that you care about what I care about, even if you're handling it a way I don't understand. Let me lie here in peace, not because I've done everything, but because I've done what I could, and now it's yours. I think that's one of the hardest things about surrender, accepting that what I could is enough, that my effort, my love, my prayer, my showing up, it counts, even if it didn't lead to the outcome I hoped for, even if it didn't change the situation, even if no one noticed, you did. You always did. So I'm letting go of the expectation that I should have done more. I'm letting go of the pressure to find the perfect words. I'm letting go of the lie that my value is tied to the results, and I'm choosing to believe that maybe, just maybe, this quiet moment of release is more powerful than all the fixing I ever tried to do. Be near, God. As I fall asleep, as I loosen my grip, as I hand you the weight, as I whisper what I'm not brave enough to shout, stay in the places that still ache. Breathe into the corners I've kept hidden, and remind me again and again that letting go doesn't mean I'm lost. It means I'm finally coming home. I've always thought strength meant holding on, holding firm, holding it together, holding back tears, holding up others, holding everything steady, no matter how shaky it felt inside. But now I'm beginning to wonder if the real strength, the kind that brings healing, is found in the release, in the quiet willingness to open my hands and admit this isn't mine to hold anymore, in the courage to let it fall and trust that not everything that breaks has to be repaired by me. There's something different about tonight, not because the ache is gone, it's still here, not because I suddenly understand everything, I don't, but because I'm starting to trust that understanding isn't the only way to find peace, that maybe peace comes first. And then over time, it teaches me how to live again without the burden of figuring it all out. I've been carrying stories that were never mine to finish, carrying responsibility for hearts I couldn't protect, carrying weight for choices I didn't make, carrying sadness for things that unfolded outside my control. And I think I was afraid to put it down, afraid that letting go would feel like abandonment. But what I'm learning is that letting go isn't about walking away. It's about walking in a different direction, a freer one, a healthier one, a path that doesn't require me to fix what was never mine to fix. There's a sacredness in this surrender, a quiet holiness in telling you, I can't do this anymore, and meaning it, not in despair, but in trust, in believing that you can carry what I can't, that you've always been willing to, that you're not disappointed in how long it took me to reach this point. You're just glad I finally did. So I lay it down again. The guilt, the grief, the pressure, the fear, the timeline I tried to force, the relationship I tried to save, the outcome I prayed for but never saw. I lay down the what-ifs and the if-onlys, the stories that replay in my head when everything else is quiet. I don't want them to shape me anymore. I don't want to live from those echoes. I want to be present in the now, however tender, however uncertain, however unhealed it may still be. I used to think closure came from conversation, from apologies, from ecologies, from apologies, from reconciliation. But I think sometimes closure comes from within, from the decision to stop waiting for someone else to bring peace and choosing, instead to create space for it myself, from saying, I forgive what I can't understand, I bless what I must release, I choose peace over control. God, help me keep choosing peace, not just in this moment, but tomorrow morning when the ache returns. Help me choose peace when I see something that reminds me of what I lost, when I hear a voice that brings back the tension, when I wake up with heaviness and no clear reason why. Help me choose peace over panic, trust over turmoil, stillness over spiraling. You're not asking me to be numb. You're not asking me to forget. You're just asking me to stop living as if healing depends on me alone. You're reminding me that I was never meant to carry this whole thing by myself, that love doesn't mean I have to fix it, that care doesn't mean I have to carry it forever, that sometimes the most loving thing I can do for myself, for others, for you, is to open my hands and let go. I want to live like that. I want to sleep like that, unclenched, unburdened, unafraid, not because everything is perfect, but because I know I'm not alone in the imperfection, because I've decided that peace is worth more than answers, that my rest is worth more than my reputation, that my soul deserves relief, even if the story is still unresolved. So here I am again, whispering a prayer I've whispered many times before, maybe with a little more softness this time, maybe with a little more trust, maybe with a little more trust, maybe with a little less fear. And in the space that's left, plant peace. Let it grow slowly, quietly, kindly. Let it take root in the places where control used to live. Let it bloom in the soil where shame tried to settle. Let it cover me gently, like a blanket I didn't know I needed until now. You know, the things I don't say out loud, the places I still tense up when I remember, the names I still speak with care, even when they're not around, the hopes I tucked away because they were too tender to hold in the open. You know it all, and still you stay. Still you love, still you gently wait for me to trust you more. I want to live like someone who believes you're big enough to handle what I can't. I want to live like someone who trusts that my small surrender is more powerful than my loud striving. I want to live like someone who believes that peace is possible. Not because I've earned it, but because you give it freely. So tonight, I receive it. Not in full understanding, not in complete healing, but in this moment, in this breath, in this choice to let you be God and let me just be held. It's strange how something I've carried for so long can feel heavier, right when I'm finally ready to set it down, almost like the weight grows in those last moments, trying to convince me it still belongs to me. But I know better now. I know this ache, this sadness, this pressure to fix what's already gone. It was never mine to keep. I just didn't know how to let it go until now. Tonight, I want to be honest. I want to name what I've been holding without shrinking from it, because pretending it doesn't matter has only made it grow, and the truth is, it mattered deeply. The hope I had, the connection I felt, the outcome I longed for. I wanted it all to be whole. I wanted things to heal. I wanted there to be another chance, another conversation, another way through, but there wasn't. And I don't need to pretend that didn't break my heart. It did, and you know that. You've seen the way I tried to carry on like it didn't matter. The way I kept functioning while something inside me was still fractured. You've watched me wake up with tightness in my chest, smile through days that felt like carrying sandbags on my shoulders, breathe through moments where I nearly fell apart. And you stayed quiet, gentle, patient, waiting for the night I'd finally hand you the weight I never should have carried this long. So, here it is, all of it. Every memory that still stings, every conversation I keep rewriting in my head, every question that has no answer, every version of the story I tried to believe instead of the truth. I'm not bringing it to you so you can fix it the way I want. I'm bringing it because I want to stop being the one who's responsible for it. I want to fall asleep without clutching these pieces to my chest. I want to sleep with my heart wide open instead of wrapped around regret. I want to trust that letting go doesn't mean I failed to love. It just means I finally trusted you more than my fear. I've spent so much energy trying to make sense of it all, trying to decode silence, trying to understand why things unraveled, trying to keep one hand on what's gone, hoping I could pull it back. But maybe I was never meant to make sense of this. Maybe the wisdom isn't in knowing why, but in learning how to keep living gently even when the why never comes. And I want to live gently. I want to wake up with softness in my bones instead of sharpness. I want to stop preparing for pain before it happens. I want to let my guard down, not because the world is safe, but because you are. Because you hold me even when things don't feel steady. Because you stay when others leave. Because you carry what I can't hold anymore. So here I am again, still tender, still tired, but more open now, less afraid to hand you the parts of my story that don't have clean endings, less ashamed of the mess, less convinced I have to clean it up before I bring it to you. I know now that you love me in the middle of the mess, that you bless my letting go, even if I do it with shaking hands, that you never needed me to hold everything together, you just needed me to stay close. And I'm trying, even when it's hard, even when the ache returns, even when I find myself remembering again. I'm trying to stay close, to breathe instead of control, to exhale instead of explain, to sit in the silence and still believe you're with me in it. I've spent too long thinking letting go was something I had to feel ready for, but I'm learning it's often the opposite, that letting go is what makes the readiness come, that surrender creates the space for strength, not the other way around. So I'm not waiting to feel fearless tonight, I'm just deciding to trust you anyway. And that's what this is, a decision, a quiet yes to peace, a quiet no to the pressure I've lived under, a quiet promise to myself that I won't keep dragging this hurt into my future, a quiet prayer Help me let go again tomorrow if I forget how tonight. You've never shamed me for struggling. You've never turned away from my weariness. You've never said you should be over this by now. Instead, you whisper, "You're safe now. I've got it." And that whisper is what I'll fall asleep holding on to. Let tonight be a soft turning, not away from what matters, but toward what heals. Let me feel how sacred this surrender is. Let me know I'm not alone in the release. Let me trust that nothing is wasted. Not the love, not the effort, not the prayers. Even if the story didn't unfold the way I hoped, you were in every line, and you're still here now, writing new lines, holding what I've handed over, breathing into the broken, creating peace where control once lived. Some nights, even after the letting go, the memories still visit. Not to hurt me, at least not intentionally, but to remind me how much I cared. I don't resent them anymore. I let them come and go like waves on a quiet shore, because I know now remembering doesn't mean I'm failing to move forward. It means I'm still healing. It means I once loved deeply. It means I was there, fully, honestly, wholeheartedly. And I'm not ashamed of that. But I am tired of letting the past steal my peace. Tired of measuring my worth by things that didn't work out. Tired of wondering if I was too much or not enough. Tired of carrying responsibility for hearts I couldn't heal, for outcomes I couldn't shape, for silence I couldn't fill. I've done all I can, and now my hands are open. Tonight, I want to stop negotiating with the past. I want to stop offering it pieces of my peace in exchange for a version of closure I may never receive. I want to stop begging my own mind to solve things that never had clear answers. I want to stop bending myself into knots just to feel like I tried hard enough. You already know I did. You already know I gave what I had. So now, I choose to give what's left to you. The tired thoughts, the tender memories, the questions I don't know how to phrase anymore, the ache that doesn't need to be named to be real. I give it all to you, not to fix it like a broken object, but to bless it like a piece of sacred history, a chapter that ended, a moment that mattered, a season that shaped me, even if it didn't stay. I used to think letting go meant it was all over, but I see it differently now. Letting go doesn't erase the story, it just turns the page. It frees me from rereading the same paragraph over and over, searching for meaning I've already found. It lets me live in the now, not stuck in what was or what could have been. It gives me space to become someone new, shaped by the past, but not defined by it. There's something freeing about that, about no longer tying my peace to someone else's reaction, about not needing the conversation to go a certain way, about not waiting for the perfect sign to tell me it's okay to move forward. It's okay now, because you're here, because you've always been here, and because you keep reminding me that wholeness isn't about perfection, it's about presence. So I'm showing up tonight with all that I am, the parts that still tremble, the parts that are learning how to breathe differently, the parts that feel lighter because I've stopped forcing everything to make sense. I bring them all to you, not asking for anything other than closeness, not begging for a miracle, just asking to be held. That's all I've ever really needed. Not for everything to work out, not for every wound to vanish, but to know I'm not alone in the uncertainty, that you haven't given up on me, that you still see beauty in me, even when all I see are the things I couldn't fix. I trust you with the unfinished stories. I trust you with the conversations that never happened. I trust you with the feelings that still rise sometimes, uninvited. I trust you with the distance I didn't want, with the silence I didn't understand, with the changes I didn't choose. I trust it, you're still doing something with all of it, even if I never get to see what it becomes. There's something holy in that kind of trust. In saying, even if I don't get closure, I still get peace. In believing that surrender is enough. In learning how to sleep without solving everything first. I didn't know I was allowed to rest like this. I didn't know I could stop before everything was wrapped up, but now I do. And I'm going to keep choosing it, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. So be near tonight, God. As the weight lifts in pieces, as my breath deepens slowly, as I learn that I don't need to apologize for the pace of my healing, as I stop shrinking to fit someone else's version of who I should have been, as I find safety not in certainty, but in presence, in you. Let this night be a turning point, not a dramatic moment, but a soft shift. Let it be the kind of transformation that starts in stillness, that grows in the quiet, that takes root in the choice to rest rather than strive, or want to sleep like someone who knows they are loved. Not for what they fixed, not for what they held together, but for simply being, for being present in the letting go, for being willing to walk away from the weight, for being honest about the ache, for being brave enough to hand it over, one breath at a time. I don't need it to make sense tonight. I just need to know you're still here, that you're still writing goodness, even from the chapters I wanted to erase. That you see the full picture when I only see fragments, that you're holding every strand of what I've released and weaving it into something I don't have to understand to trust. So I breathe, I let go, I stay soft, and I fall asleep in peace. Not because it's fixed, but because I finally stopped trying to fix it alone. Some things don't heal the way I expected them to. They don't wrap up with a satisfying conclusion or bring a neat lesson I can hold on to like a souvenir. Some wounds just soften with time. Some questions remain open, like windows that never quite shut all the way. And maybe that's okay. Maybe healing isn't always about finding closure. It's about finding peace, even in the absence of it. And that's what I want tonight. Not clarity, not final answers, just peace. Because I've been clinging too tightly again, reaching for explanations, for meaning, for something to make this all feel less unfinished. I've told myself that if I just think through it one more time, maybe I'll find the thread that pulls it all together. But there's no thread, not here, not in this. There's only my desire to understand and your invitation to rest instead. I know now that understanding can't always save me, that sometimes it delays the healing, because I stay stuck in the questions, thinking the answers will set me free, when really, it's the surrender that does. It's the breath that says, even without knowing, I'll trust you. That's the moment I start to feel free again. That's the moment I can finally exhale. So I want to do that now. I want to exhale everything I've been holding in, every pressure, every expectation, every bit of self-blame I've tied to something I never had the power to change. I want to breathe in your mercy and breathe out my fear. I want to inhale grace and release the need to manage every detail. I want to be light again, not because the weight disappeared, but because I finally stopped picking it back up. I'm tired of trying to be the glue, tired of thinking it's my job to hold it all together, tired of playing the silent role of the fixer, the one who always absorbs more than they speak. I wasn't created for that. You didn't design me to be a quiet container for other people's chaos. You made me to love, yes, to care deeply, yes, but not to sacrifice my peace in the name of control, not to lose myself in someone else's storm. Tonight I choose to come back to myself, to come back to you, to bring my scattered pieces, not for reassembly, but for rest, because maybe they don't need to go back the way they were. Maybe this new shape, this softer version of me, is something you're gently forming through every moment I release, instead of resist. And I do release it again, even now. Even after all this time, I release the ache of wanting to fix what won't respond to my care. I release the feeling that I was somehow responsible for something that broke. I release the stories I've carried in my chest like stones. I release the imaginary dialogues, the wishful revisions, the hours of mental replays. I release them not because they never mattered, but because they no longer serve peace. I want to sleep tonight like someone who trusts they've done enough, who trusts that they are not the savior of every situation, who trusts that when something isn't healing, it's not always their fault. I want to rest like someone who knows they're not failing just because they're no longer fighting. I want to rest like someone who believes that you are still in the room, even when everything else feels like absence. You're still here. That's what matters. You haven't withdrawn just because I couldn't fix it. You haven't withheld peace just because I couldn't find the right words. You haven't turned away because I let go. If anything, you've drawn closer. And I feel that now, like a quiet warmth, like a steady presence in the silence, like a breath that holds me even when I have no more prayers left to speak. I don't have to earn your closeness. I don't have to prove I'm strong enough to deserve rest. I don't have to pretend I'm not disappointed or tired or grieving. You already know, and you stay. And in that staying, I find enough. So, let tonight be gentle. Let my sleep be soft. Let my thoughts lose their urgency. Let my body sink into stillness without bracing for more. Let my heart believe that I'm safe now, not because I fixed it all, but because I finally stopped trying. I am not a failure for walking away from what I can't carry. I am not heartless for letting go of what I tried to love well. I'm not weak for needing help, for needing rest, for needing you. I'm human, and that's enough for tonight. Help me remember this in the morning when the ache might whisper again, when the thoughts creep back in, when my hands instinctively reach to grasp what I've already laid down. Help me pause before I pick it back up. Help me feel how much lighter I am without it. Help me trust that you're holding what I gave you, that you won't drop it, that you're still working with it, even when I'm not. Let me walk forward tomorrow, not with regret, but with grace. Grace for the things I couldn't fix. Grace for the version of me who tried so hard. Grace for the parts of me that are still learning how to release without guilt. Let me be kind to myself. Let me be kind to the process. Let me be kind to the past that shaped me, even if I've now chosen to step beyond it. This isn't a perfect prayer, but it's an honest one. It's a real one, and I know that's what you want from me, more than anything else. Not polished words, just truth, just presence, just surrender. So I give it all again. I whisper it again. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. And now, finally, I can rest. Somewhere along the way, I learned to equate love with responsibility. That if I truly cared, I would do everything in my power to make it right, to make it work, to hold it all together, no matter the cost. And I carried that belief with pride until the weight of it began to crush me, until I realized that love doesn't always mean fixing, and responsibility doesn't always mean control. Sometimes, love looks like knowing when to let go, and responsibility looks like knowing what isn't mine to carry anymore. That's what I'm still learning. Slowly, gently, painfully. That there are things I'm holding that don't belong to me, and they never did. Outcomes I can't shape. People I can't protect. Wounds I can't heal. Words I can't take back. Time I can't rewind. No matter how deeply I care, I'm not the one who makes it all whole again. And maybe I'm not supposed to be. Tonight, I don't want to be the hero of every story. I don't want to be the one who fixes what's broken or absorbs what others can't face. I just want to be held, to be seen, to be told that it's okay to step back, to stop, to surrender. Not because I gave up, but because I finally gave in to grace. I want to lay down the burden of being the one who always tries, always hopes, always stays too long at the edge of something that won't return. I want to lay down the shame of being the one who didn't fix it. I want to stop punishing myself for outcomes that never rested in my hands to begin with. I want to be free from the narrative that says I only mattered if the story ended in healing, because I did matter. I still do, even if the story ended quietly, even if it ended painfully, even if there was no ending at all. The love I gave still counts. The care I offered still stands. The effort I poured in is still seen by you, if no one else. That's what brings me peace tonight. Not the idea that everything's better, but the truth that nothing is wasted, that even the things that didn't bloom left something behind. Even the endings I didn't choose shaped me into someone who can still choose peace now. That matters. So I give you what's still left in my hands. The final scraps of the story I keep trying to hold. The ache that shows up in quieter ways now. The flickers of memory that arrive at unexpected times. The wondering, the wishful parts of me that still hope for something different. I give it all to you again. And I know you're not tired of receiving it. You don't grow weary of my repeated surrender. You don't roll your eyes when I pray the same prayer again. You just open your arms again and again and again. And that's what I'm leaning into tonight. Not certainty, not closure, just comfort. Let tonight be a rest from the pressure. Let it be a pause from the stories playing on loop in my head. Let it be a moment where I stop explaining myself to people who never asked. Let it be a moment where I stop trying to prove that I've done enough. Because I have. I have done enough. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not without mistakes, but with heart, with honesty, with love. And that's enough for you. Let it be enough for me too. Remind me that I don't need to hold what you've already taken, that I don't need to keep watch over a past you've already forgiven, that I don't need to stay in places where my soul keeps breaking, that I don't need to wait for permission to walk into freedom. I'm allowed to release. I'm allowed to rest. I'm allowed to reclaim the space inside me that was never meant to house regret. I want to sleep tonight like someone who's no longer punishing themselves, like someone who no longer needs to carry stories alone, like someone who finally believes that peace doesn't require perfection. I want to wake up tomorrow, not bracing for pain, but breathing in possibility, not running through the same emotional maze, but stepping forward into a new way of being, lighter, softer, free. You've already made the space. All I need to do is choose it. All I need to do is trust you enough to stop holding so tightly. So I do. Right now, I trust you with this hurt. I trust you with this hope. I trust you with the middle of the story, even if I never get to see the ending. I trust you with the things I don't understand. I trust you with the healing I can't force. I trust you with the people I had to let go of. I trust you with the version of me who did her best, but couldn't change the outcome. That version of me is still worthy, still good, still loved. You see her, you hold her, and you're not disappointed. You're just near. That's enough for tonight. So I'll sleep with open hands and a softer heart. I'll breathe without bracing. I'll dream without fixing. I'll rest without shame. And I'll wake up tomorrow ready to walk forward without what I no longer need to carry. There's something sacred about the final moment of surrender. Not because it's dramatic or loud, but because it's quiet and true. It doesn't arrive with fanfare or final words. It just happens. Like a sigh you didn't know you'd been holding. Like a stillness that finally settles in. And I think I'm there now. Not because I've stopped caring, but because I've finally stopped controlling. And that changes everything. This entire journey, this prayer, this process, this unwinding has been about loosening my grip on what was never mine to hold forever. I didn't know how tightly I was holding pain until I started releasing it. I didn't realize how much of my identity had tangled itself around being the one who carries, fixes, heals. But slowly, gently, I've begun to untie those threads. And what's left is lighter, softer, more free. Letting go hasn't erased the ache. It hasn't rewritten the past or magically healed the people I had to step away from. It hasn't given me the closure I once begged for. But it's given me something far more sustaining, peace. Not the kind that depends on external resolution, but the kind that quietly, steadily grows from within. The kind that whispers, you can stop now, you can rest. So I will. Tonight, for the first time in a long time, I will fall asleep, not with questions clinging to my chest, but with gratitude. Gratitude for the growth, for the quiet strength I found in the middle of uncertainty, for the moments I wanted to give up but didn't, for the truth I found buried beneath the weight that I am still whole, even when things around me are not. God, I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't know if the things I've released will return in new ways or fade gently into the background. But I do know this. I don't need them to define me anymore. I don't need what broke to prove I tried. I don't need what left to know I was worth staying for. I don't need to carry what only you can hear. Let this be the night my soul exhales fully. The night my heart is no longer split between clinging and releasing. The night I close the chapter, not with bitterness, not with regret, but with reverence, with quiet thanks for what was, with open hands for what will be. I forgive myself for not knowing how to let go sooner. I forgive myself for trying to carry what was never mine. I forgive myself for the ways I overextended, overexplained, overstayed. I forgive the version of me who thought love meant never walking away, who believed her worth was tied to the outcome, who measured peace by the reactions of others. And in the same breath, I bless her. I bless the me who tried, who showed up, who stayed tender through the unraveling, who prayed even when she didn't have the words, who loved fully even when it cost her comfort. She deserves rest now. She deserves to breathe. I bless the ending that didn't go how I wanted. I bless the people I had to release. I bless the unspoken goodbyes. I bless the confusion, the silence, the ache. I bless it not because it felt good, but because it shaped me into someone softer, someone more aware, someone who now knows when to stay and when to step back. That's something I'll carry forward with gentleness. And I bless what comes next. I don't know what it looks like, but I know it's lighter. I know it's rooted in trust. I know it's built on peace, not pressure. I know it doesn't require me to be everything for everyone. I know it's a space where I can simply be loved, free, enough. Let me wake tomorrow with that knowing still in my bones. Let me carry the softness with me into the day. Let me walk without the burden of fixing. Let me be present instead of proving. Let me speak with clarity instead of fear. Let me create new memories that don't echo the past. I want to be someone who walks in trust, not tension, who leads with peace, not performance, who lets love be light, not a leash, who shows up open and doesn't rush the process. You've shown me what that looks like, God. Every night I came to you empty, you met me without judgment. Every prayer I whispered in uncertainty, you received with care. Every tear I cried in silence, you counted like treasure. And now you've carried me to the end of this long surrender. I thought the end would feel like loss, but it feels like space, like breath, like a quiet room with the windows open and light pouring in. It feels like I finally stepped out of a role I was never meant to hold on to, so tightly. It feels like freedom. So tonight, as I close my eyes and finally let the weight fall away completely, I don't say goodbye to the past with anger. I say thank you. Thank you for what it taught me. Thank you for what it revealed. Thank you for the way it brought me closer to you. Thank you for helping me let go, even when I didn't think I could. This is not the end of my tenderness. It's just the beginning of learning how to offer it without exhaustion. This is not the end of my love. It's the start of loving without control. This is not the end of my care. It's the beginning of caring without the cost of my own peace. I am still loving. I am still healing. I am still growing. But I am no longer trying to fix what isn't mine to fix.